Welcome to Frame by Frame, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the movie that changed everything. A brave dream comes true. Once upon a time, there was a man named Walt Disney who had a crazy dream. He wanted to make the first full-length cartoon movie ever. People thought he was nuts. They call it Disney's Folly, which means Disney's silly mistake. But Walt Disney proved everyone wrong when he created Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. This magical movie did not just tell a beautiful story, it changed movies forever. The story we all love. Snow White is based on a fairy tale by Brothers Grimm. The story follows a young princess with skin as white as snow, lips as red as cherries, and hair as black as night. Her evil stepmother, the queen, is jealous of Snow White's beauty. When her magic mirror tells her that Snow White is the fairest of them, the queen becomes very angry and tries to hurt Snow White. Snow White runs away into the forest and finds a tiny cottage where 7 little men called dwarfs live. Their names are Happy, Sleepy, Sneezy, Grumpy, Bashful, Dopey, and Doc. They become her friends and protect her. But the evil queen finds out where Snow White is hiding and tricks her into eating a poisoned apple. Only true love's kiss from a handsome prince can wake her up. The amazing voice actors. Adrina Castellotti as Snow White. The voice of Snow White belongs to a young woman named Adrina Castellotti. She was only 18 years old when Walt Disney chose her. Here is how she got the job. She overheard a phone conversation in which Walt Disney was asking her father, Guido, for help finding the right voice for Snow White. When Disney heard Adrina's sweet, natural voice, he knew she was perfect. She was paid a total of $970 for working on the film, which would be about $21,000 in today's money. She recorded her voice without any other actor present in 48 days. Sadly, she was not credited for the role and had trouble finding new work after Snow White because Disney wanted to keep the magic alive by not revealing who voiced the character. Harry Stockwell as the prince. The prince was voiced by Harry Stockwell. He sang the romantic songs that helped wake Snow White from her deep sleep. In 1938, she and Harry Stockwell, the voice of Prince Charming, attempted to sue Disney because they wanted more money from the movie's soundtrack sales. The Seven Dwarfs. Each dwarf had their own special personality and different actors gave them their voices. Doc, the leader of the group, voice but sometimes mixed up his words. Grumpy, always complaining but has a good heart. Happy, always cheerful and laughing. Sleepy, always tired and yawning. Bashful, very shy, especially around Snow White. Sneezy, cannot stop sneezing because of allergies. Dopey voiced by Eddie Collins, the only dwarf who doesn't speak but is very lovable. Other important voices. The evil queen or witch. The scary villain who wants to be the most beautiful. The magic mirror. The magic mirror voiced by Moroni Olsen tells the queen the truth she doesn't want to hear. The huntsman. The huntsman voiced by Stuart Bunchen. The man the queen asks to harm Snow White but he is too kind to do it. Walt Disney, the visionary director. Walt Disney wasn't just the boss of the movie, he was the heart and soul of the entire project. He had never made a full-length cartoon before, but he believed it could work. Disney was involved in every part of making the movie. He would act out scenes for his animators, showing them exactly how characters should move and behave. Disney was the perfectionist. If something wasn't good enough, he would make his team to do it again and again until it was perfect. He cared about every tiny detail, from how Snow White's dress moved in the wind to how each dwarf walked differently. The revolutionary movie making process, a massive undertaking. Snow White was a huge undertaking. Its production took around 3 years, $1.4 million, 750 artists, and nearly 2 million separate paintings to complete. To understand how big this was, more than 750 Disney artists worked on the film during those 4 years. Included were 32 animators, 102 assistants, 107 in-betweeners. Hand-drawn animation magic. Every single frame of Snow White was drawn by hand. The first full-length animated feature done in traditional hand-drawn style. This meant that artists had to draw thousands and thousands of pictures. When you watch the movie, you are seeing about 24 drawings every second. The artists had to learn how to draw people realistically. Before Snow White, cartoons mostly showed funny animals like Mickey Mouse, Drawing humans who looked real was much harder. The amazing multiplane camera. One of the coolest invention used in Snow White was called the multiplane camera. Bothered by flatness of animation, he invented the multiplane camera to film through several layers of drawings. Disney multiplane camera, which used up to 7 layers of artwork painted in oils on glass, shot under a vertical and movable camera. Imagine taking several pieces of glasses with the different parts of a picture painted on each one. For each successive frame, each art piece is moved in various calculated directions and speeds. Thanks to this new super cartoon camera, animated scenes suddenly looked more realistic and three-dimensional. When Snow White runs through the forest, you can see trees in the front, middle and back moving at different speeds just like in real life. The beautiful Technicolor. It is also the first one in the world and in America to be translated in English. The first movie to be photographed in Technicolor. Before this, most movies were in black and white. Snow White was one of the first movies to use beautiful, bright colors throughout the entire film. The red of Snow White's dress, the green of forest, and the sparkling colors of gems, the dwarfs' mind all looked amazing on the big screen. The music that made us sing. The songs in the Snow White became some of the most famous songs ever written for movies. The music was composed by Frank Churchill, Leigh Harlin, and Paul J. Smith. Here are the most memorable songs. I Am Wishing and one song. Snow White's sweetest songs at the beginning. Whistle While You Work, the happy cleaning song that everyone liked. Hey Ho, the dwarfs marching song as they go to work. Someday My Prince Will Come, Snow White's beautiful dream song. The film later went on to win the Oscars for Best Original Score of 1938 Academy Awards. These songs were so good that people still sing them today, almost 90 years later. The money problem and the big risk. Making Snow White was very expensive and risky. Disney had to mortgage his house to help finance the film's production, which eventually ran up a total cost up to $14,88,422, a massive sum for a feature film in 1937. This means Disney had a risk losing his own home to make the movie. Midway through, Disney decided a $250,000 loan to finish the film. Many people thought Disney was crazy to spend so much money on a cartoon. They call it as Disney Folly because they thought it would fail. The amazing success. But Disney was right to believe in his dream. Snow White premiered in Hollywood at December 21st, 1937, earning a standing ovation from the star-studded crowd. When it was released to the public the following February, the film quickly grossed $8 million. To understand how successful this was, keep in mind that a children's ticket cost only 20 cents then. That's a lot of tickets. A staggering sum during the Great Depression and most made by any film up to that time. What made Snow White so special? The revolutionary animation techniques, realistic human movements. The animators studied how real people moved and walked. Detailed backgrounds. Every forest scene and cottage interiors was beautifully painted. Character personalities. Each character had their own way of moving and acting. Emotional storytelling. The movie made people laugh, cry, and feel scared. Technical innovations. Multiplane camera created depth and realism. Full color animation, beautiful Technicolor throughout, professional voice acting, real actors gave life to the characters. Orchestral music score, a full orchestra played the music. The impact on movies and the culture. Snow White did not just entertain people, it changed the whole movie business. Crude animation could tell long stories. Before Snow White, cartoons were just short films shown before the main movie. Started the Disney princess tradition. Snow White became the first Disney princess, leading to many others. Made animation an art form. People realized cartoons could be just as beautiful and meaningful as regular movies. Influenced all future animated movies. Every cartoon movies made after Snow White learned something from it. Fun facts about Snow White movie. The movie has translated into many languages and shown all over the world. It has been re-released many times since. The first was in 1944 in order to raise money for the Disney studio during World War II. Walt Disney received a special Academy Award Award for Snow White, one big Oscar, and 7 little ones for the Seven Dwarfs. The movie was so popular that it saved Disney's company and allowed them to make many more animated movies. Why Snow White still matters today? Even though Snow White is almost 90 years old, it is still important today. The timeless story. The theme of good versus evil, friendship, and true love never get old. Beautiful heart. The hand-drawn animation is still gorgeous to look at. Great music. The songs are still catchy and fun to sing. Historical importance. It started the tradition of full-length animated movies. Family entertainment. Parents and grandparents can share it with children. The movie's message. Kindness matters more than beauty. Snow White is loved because she is kind, not just because she is pretty. Good friends help each other. The dwarfs and Snow White take care of each other. Evil doesn't win in the end. The queen's jealousy destroys her, but Snow White's goodness saves her. Hardworking is rewarding. The whistle while you work song shows that work can be fun when done with friends. The Masterbeat, a masterpiece that changed everything. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is an American animated musical film released in 1937 that established Walt Disney as one of the most innovative and creative movie makers. Along with Pinocchio 1940, it is widely considered to be Disney's greatest film achievement. What started as Disney's Folly became one of the most important movies ever made. What had been dubbed Disney's Folly was now his greatest triumph. Walt Disney's brave dream didn't just create a beautiful movie, it created a whole new way of telling stories through animation. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs proved that cartoons could make people laugh, cry, and dream. It showed that animation wasn't just for children, it was an art form that could touch everyone's heart. The movie's success led to creation of Disney Studios as we know it today and inspired countless other filmmakers to believe in their own impossible dreams. When we watch Snow White today, we are not just watching a movie, we are watching the birth of animated cinema. We are seeing the moment when one man's dream became a reality that would entertain families for generations to come. And just like the magic mirror in the story, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs will always be remembered as the fairest of them all in the world of animated movie. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? After almost 90 years, the answer is still Snow White, the movie that started it all and proved that dreams really can come true. Thank you all for watching. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to our channel. Let us know which movie do you want to discuss about in our next video. Thanks again. Take care.